Students make the most of what has been an unusual year. Dr. President McGee talks about returning in the fall and plans for easing COVID restrictions. But first, a student's reaction to an incident that occurred at a local nightclub. A student at Quincy University reported that she was assaulted at a local nightclub. Jasper Evans says the club owner choked her and hit her early in the morning on April 4th. The incident happened at a nightclub called The Barn. Pictures of Evans' injuries were posted on social media. Many students, faculty, and residents expressed their outrage about the incident on social media. QU President Brian McGee issued an email encouraging witnesses of the assault to talk to the police. The club owner was arrested on a charge of aggravated battery more than 10 days after the incident.
Evans was on the women's basketball team at QU. Her teammates and other students joined Evans' family for a peaceful protest in Washington Park on April 17th. The group heard from Evans and her family before marching from the park to the nightclub where the attack happened. QUTV's Micah Wheeler tells us about that protest in Washington Park.
If you look behind me, you'll see the location where family and friends of Jasper Evans, as well as a few other QU students and faculty, gathered together to let their voices be heard and to cry out to stop social injustice in Quincy. Quincy University students and a few Quincy locals all joined together on Saturday, April 17th, to show their support for Jasper Evans, a QU student from Joliet who was assaulted at a local nightclub here in Quincy called The Barn. The demonstration was held at Washington Park, located between Main and Hampshire Street. News of the protest spread quickly throughout the city and had a multitude of people come out to show their respects for Jazz and her family. Students at QU wasted no time in making sure that their voices were heard. Take a look at this cardboard. It seems like there's nothing major about it, but what if I told you that this same piece of material was used as an instrument to help fight social injustice? Holding up makeshift signs, reciting powerful chants, Women's lives matter. Women's lives matter. Everywhere we go. Fight back. Fight back. And sharing moving messages to the crowd of people, QU students and Quincy locals demonstrated how the voices of many, and not the few, can indeed make change. This was a pivotal moment for not only Quincy, but for everyone who is actively involved in the fight to put an end to social inequality.
It was good to see that the minorities in this town are not alone. Like we got support from QPD, fellow classmates, from everybody. It was just comforting and warm.
This was very powerful. It was kind of moving to see a lot of people from different parts of the country and different parts of the area come all together for the same cause.
Quincy University students and Quincy locals all remain hopeful about their efforts to make change in the city and will not stop until it is achieved. Micah Wheeler, QUTV News, Quincy.
Protesters called for the barn to be shut down and for justice for Jazz. A hearing will be held on April 29th to discuss the status of the bar owner's liquor license.
Since the night of the attack, Quincy University students and members of the community have gathered to show support for Jazz attending protests and meetings. Students are actively looking for a way forward. Students and community members met outside of the barn where Evans was assaulted. Student leader and community activist CJ Cunningham talks about what students can do to show their support for Jazz.
Support Jazz, and I think that looks like going to protests that we're having. I think that looks like identifying with the movement, but also being civil while you identify with the movement, because there are ways that you can hurt the movement by being violent. There are ways that you can hurt the movement by retaliating. There are ways that you can hurt the movement. Lessons that we can learn as a student body, lessons that we can learn. I mean, there are so many lessons I can't even begin, but like just the lessons on how to protect yourselves culturally, how to protect your friends culturally, things like that. Like this is a very important lesson on how you can go out. I think many of the students have already started that process of joining protests, of being active on social media, being loud, however you can be loud, because this is a situation that really needs to be exposed.
Steve Holman was charged with 1 count of aggravated battery and is currently on bail, awaiting his court date on May 4th. Quincy University President Brian McGee released a statement saying, "Quincy University supports its students and will never tolerate violence targeting a student." To hear more from CJ Cunningham, you can tune in to our podcast with him on QUTV.net.
Coming up, the benefits of cooking, how one student took advantage of their COVID red shirt year.
The Quincy Museum reopens and COVID restrictions ease. What President McGee thinks about returning to normal this fall. Students hope fall classes return to normal. After a year and a half of COVID-19 restrictions, plans are being made for next semester. QU students are asking what normal will look like. Coping with the uncertainty is not an easy task. However, Quincy University is striving to have a larger change for a healthier and more traditional styled year ahead. On May 11th, Quincy released their 2021-2022 academic calendar with an article stating that there are early signs of a greater return to normalcy on campus this next year. Many questions are now arising as to what that might look like. Earlier this week, QUTV News had the privilege of interviewing Dr. President McGee in the studio for the Inside Scoop.
It just hasn't been the same. And so I'm incredibly excited about being able to talk to students on the sidewalk, in the cafeteria, in Francis Hall, at athletic events, and every student having the same experience with one another along with faculty and staff. I mean, the connections and the community here are extraordinary, and it's just not been the same for us this year. It's going to be so much more normal this fall.
While Quincy is unaware at this time what regulations and precautions may take place, authorities do suggest students continue to practice social distancing, wear masks, and get the vaccine. The vaccine is working to reduce COVID-19, and Quincy authorities say that the more students that get on board for the vaccine, the better the future can look.
To me, returning to normal is no more masks and everyone's just like back to how it was before, but of course I know that's going to take a while, but that'd be nice.
Great deals of progress have already been made, and more encouraging changes have created hope for students this fall. Administrators are still discussing rules for the fall. Their hope is to give every student a dream college experience.
Rhiannon Beddington is one QU student taking advantage of her COVID red shirt year. Beddington decided to transfer to Quincy as a graduate student and play one last season of lacrosse. After having her season at Lincoln Memorial University cut short, Beddington was recruited to join the Hawks. Although she said moving and joining a new team was intimidating, the team atmosphere helped her settle in.
I was scared to be on a new team, and I didn't know what group of girls I was going to be meshing with, but it worked out well.
Beddington was a key defender in every game of the season. She tallied 16 ground balls and 4 caused turnovers. The Hawks finished their first full season in the GLVC at Missouri Western last Sunday. Beddington plans on becoming a mental health counselor after graduating.
One of the top tourist attractions in Quincy is open once again. The Quincy Museum was closed for a year because of COVID-19. It used to be a dormitory for Quincy college students. QUTV's Jay Hamill takes us on a tour.
The home of the Quincy Museum, located on East Main Street, is the Newcomb Stillwell Mansion. The 3-story Great Stone Building is listed on the National Register of Historical Places.
This home was built in 1890 and it was finished in 1891 for Richard Newcomb and his family. He was one of 4 millionaires living in Quincy at the time of his death in 1904. He was one of the founder members, I guess you want to call it that, of one of the Park District, the Public Library, various organizations around Quincy. And then this house became a dormitory for QU, or Quincy College, in 1940, and they used it for about 40 years to house their students.
The museum offers a variety of exhibits and educational programs focusing on the natural history of Quincy and Adams County.
Yeah, so the first floor is all renovated and restored to fit the period of the home. So you'll see the former parlor, the dining room, a den, the ladies' sitting room, because the sexes were often separated during that time period. And then you also see a library that was part of the apartment for the house mother during the college years. And then our upper floors, those are our exhibit spaces. So a lot of it has to do with Quincy and Adams County history. And then we have a little bit of a natural history display as well.
The historic home has a unique design that features 13 fireplaces, 7 pillars supporting its roof, copper gutters, and French-style windows.
I personally love just the antiqueness of the house, the vintage era, or the Victorian era, excuse me. I love our natural history displays. They have taxidermy that's over 100 years old, and they're in beautiful condition still. And it's really a museum that everyone can find something to do or like while they're visiting. And a lot of people just don't know we're here.
I'm standing here in front of the Quincy Museum here at the corner of 16th and Main Street. The museum is open Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. And with your Quincy ID, you can tour the museum for just $3. Jay Hamill, QUTV News, Quincy.
The Quincy Museum is having a bake sale on Saturday.
With restaurant restrictions due to COVID, students are learning how to cook for themselves. Some are enjoying more free time in the kitchen. QUTV's Eric Stafford introduces us to a budding chef.
This year, Amari Dampier has been cooking up a feast this semester. With the pandemic and having a lot of stores closed and shut down this year, home-cooked meals have been back in style.
About having my own apartment, I like that. I have my independence to cook whatever I want. I go out, buy my own groceries. A lot that I have in my kitchen just tend towards me.
Amori has an apartment not too far from campus where she does most of the cooking. The apartment lifestyle gives you a pretty cool chance to do the cooking she wants to do.
I like to cook burgers, pasta, chicken, fries, seafood, anything that I buy, I cook.
Dampier has a pretty cool setup from the looks of it. Hopefully she continues to learn new dishes to cook for the future.
To sunshine in a week, spring in Quincy is full of changes. Find out what to expect coming up next.
It isn't a building. It isn't an arena or field. It isn't a classroom. It's a friendship. It's the bonds you form. It's an opportunity. It's the experience. It's a cute thing. Schedule your visit today.
Spring in the Midwest takes us from snow to sun to showers.
That's right, it can be a roller coaster. Micah Wheeler joins us now from the QUTV Weather Center with this week's forecast. Micah?
Thank you, Maddie. Let's take a look at our weather's headlines for this week. Looking at this year's spring temperatures, we have some rain headed into finals week. And today we have a high of 71 degrees with a low of 57. The average of today is usually 69, which is not too bad. And the average of the low average is usually 48 degrees. But would you believe that in 1986, the weather has shot up to 88 degrees as a high. And in 1996, the average is looking about the same. Today and Wednesday, we have a 94% of rain, high of 72 degrees, so it will be a little humid outside with winds coming in from the southwest of 9 miles an hour. Wednesday night, the temperature will drop to 69 degrees, partly cloudy, winds coming in from the northwest with 12 miles per hour. On Thursday, the conditions will still be kind of gloomy with rain, a slight chance of rain, temperatures a high of 68, winds coming in from the northwest at 12 miles per hour. But on Friday, things should clear up, so if you plan on going outside, having a little picnic, the weather should be a cool 72. Friday evening, it'll drop to 52, and by Saturday, it'll shoot back up to 79 with a slight chance of rain. Our 3-day forecast, on Thursday, a slight chance of rain with a high of 68, a low of 52. On Friday, clear days, sunny, high of 72 and a low of 60. And on Saturday, clouds should come in not too bad with a high of 79 degrees and a low of 62. Our 7-day forecast, you're looking at Sundays, cloudy a little bit with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 58. On Monday, it should drop down a few degrees with a high of 77 and a low of 53, clouds coming in. And then on Tuesday, the rain should come back. Hopefully it won't, with a high of 68 and a low of 58. Now, in this spring, we hope that we got a clear, nice sunny days, but just like this one that Mick Sullivan had took, but it wasn't looking too likely. And that's all that we have in store for you for our forecast. Back to you, Michele and Mattison.
Thank you for that, Micah. Volleyball receives season recognition, basketball gets a new head coach, and one senior signs a professional contract. Sports is up next. Mick Sullivan is here now with sports.
Thanks, Michele. We've had a great spring semester full of sports here at QU. Let's get into it. Basketball star and Quincy, Illinois native Tanner Stuckman has big changes coming to his life. After 5 years at Quincy, he is moving on to the next chapter of his life, professional basketball. Stuckman has made the most of his time at Quincy, going from a walk-on player as a freshman to finishing his career with over 1,000 points scored and being a first-team all-conference selection in the GLVC. Stuckman will be pursuing a professional basketball career overseas. The Quincy women's volleyball team found success this year from their 3 first-team all-conference players, Maddie Norris, Michaela Canabolo, and Emily Reagan. The Quincy women's volleyball team finished this season in a quarterfinal GLVC tournament loss to Missouri S&T, but are hopeful for what's to come for next year.
That's something Quincy is not done in years. So to have 3 people on that all-conference first team was really awesome for the program. Really shows that we're making growth as a program. What I'm most excited about next year is the fact that we still have 3 first-team all-conference players returning to the program, and we have so many newcomers coming in, you can already see the difference 2 years has made with Mark Jones as head coach. So moving forward, things are only going to get better. We have a lot of talent and a lot of potential on the QU roster, and this team is making huge strides.
The women's volleyball team finished with a record of 15-7 this last season. The Hawks will be returning all 3 of their first-team all-conference players for next season. QU star pitcher Riley Martin has one heck of a resume. He has the QU strikeout record. He also holds the QU all-time wins record. He's a 2-time GLVC champ. He has 1 World Series appearance. He's 2nd all-time in innings pitched and is 3rd all-time in single-season strikeouts. And he is still going.
Playing as a team, offensively, we've been outstanding, best in the league. And we've been pitching it a lot better, too. I mean, we've just come together as a team. We're clicking right now, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Go.
Just keep doing what we're doing. Keep swinging it, keep pitching it. Just stay in this rhythm we're kind of found ourselves in right now, and just keep riding this hot streak.
For the Hawks, next game they will be on the road facing off against Drury University on April 30th at 5 p.m. And you can tune in and watch that game on the GLVC Sports Network. The Quincy University women's basketball team has announced Casey Bailey as their new head coach. Bailey is a Southern Illinois University alum, having played her college basketball for the Salukis. A former coach of the George Mason University women's basketball program, Bailey is excited for this new opportunity in Quincy. This new hire is an exciting step for the Quincy women's basketball team, who finished 2-18 last season and are looking to turn things around next year. Up next, what happens when you walk through the kiosk on campus? Stay tuned to find out.
Legend has it that students who walk through the kiosk on campus won't graduate on time. When you're walking down Penny Lane, you're likely to see students walk around the kiosk and not through it. Now, not every student believes in the superstition, but only a few are willing to take the risk. Due to its cursed reputation, the kiosk, located in the center of campus, has become a popular backdrop for graduation photos. Seniors will revisit the kiosk on the day of their graduation and walk through it for the first time. However, not all students here believe that something as simple as a kiosk can affect your graduation date.
I think it's quite funny. I see people going out of their way to avoid it during the day on campus, but then on the weekend after a couple of drinks they just walk straight through it without a care in the world.
The story has been around QU for many years, being passed down to incoming students each year. McElroy is one of the few students on campus who have chosen to ignore the superstitions. I don't usually believe in superstitions, but I don't think I'll be taking the chance.
I haven't yet this year or in past.
For Micah Wheeler and Mick Sullivan, I'm Michele Barletta.
And I'm Mattison Norris. Thank you for joining us this week. Have a great summer, and we'll see you next semester.